EcoGeek asks, what browser or browsers do you use on mobile?
Okay, yeah. So I've been um, constantly cycling on the mobile browser front.
Oh yeah.
And just because, okay, I'm going to start this by saying I am not happy with mobile browsers. I'm just not. I can't like find a single browser that I'm like, this is the one. I'm really happy with it, or even like two or three. I'm like, okay, here's the perfect browser workflow I finally found, and I'm confident in it. And when I talk to people, this is what I'm going to tell them. So I don't have a confident answer here.
Yeah.
On the Android front, I really like Brave. Brave does a lot of good things on Android. I'm a huge fan. I really used to like Bromite before it just fell off the face of the earth, though there is a new fork that is coming about that I'm excited to see what they do. It's not based on
hmm
Chromium at the moment, so I guess we'll see what they do with that. I don't know. I'm curious. Um, and I really, really like Mole as well on Android. My only concern with Mole is that it seems to, as far as I know, be maintained by a pretty small team, possibly just one person actually. So that's the one thing that I don't like about Mole. So I do like Brave to kind of have like a more dependable browser that's always accessible, that's always getting updates, that's Chromium based, and they do a lot of good things there. But again, I'm just not super happy with anything. I'm not like, oh, I'm such a huge fan of this one browser on Android. And then on iOS, I actually really liked Brave on iOS, to be honest. I do like it, but it's a lot more limited. My dog doesn't like iOS browsers either. With the iOS front, I really liked Brave. Firefox Focus is nice for just an expendable, ephemeral browser. But also, I don't mind the Safari and AdGuard configuration, which I know is probably what you're going to suggest.
See, I don't really use my mobile browser for a lot of stuff. It's really just like quick browsing. So Safari, because I use an iPhone, works very well for me. When I use an Android phone, I use Brave, just because it seems to be just a solid option all around. But I haven't really put a lot of thought into mobile browsers because they don't really fit into my workflow too much. In any case, pretty much Safari with AdGuard is what I use.
That's because, yeah, I'm just so unhappy with the mobile space, to be honest. And I don't
Yeah.
think it's like the developers or development's fault, especially on iOS, right? Like on iOS, pretty much everything has to be WebKit based and it's pretty limited in what they can do. So all they can provide is some limited features on top of what Safari with something like AdGuard would provide. But on Android, I don't think there is a fantastic excuse, maybe, that I've seen. So I just would like to see a better browser on Brave or on Android.
On Android, yeah. Mobile browsers kind of undercooked in general. I do
Right.
have to say about the WebKit thing, I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I think they are. I don't know if did they confirm multiple engines. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
they
officially
did. It's
confirmed
official.
or
It's gonna happen.
okay. I kind of have mixed feelings about that just because the the obvious outcome here this ties to the Chromium monopoly. When this happens, pretty much everyone on iOS is going to switch to Chrome, and WebKit currently is like the only, it's the main competitor to Chrome right now because Gecko isn't super popular these days. So we're losing like a major player in this space because I really don't see a lot of people sticking with Safari when because most people use Chrome already. Chrome is going to provide a lot of extra features on iOS that people are gonna use. So
Yeah, it's a good
it's
point.
it's just kind of a shame.
It is. Well, I'm mixed on the WebKit thing as well. And my reasoning for being mixed on it is from a privacy and security perspective, because, and this is actually something that Arthur Edelstein, the developer of Privacy Tests, mentioned in the interview that I did with
Mhm.
him. He's like, if you look at the chart in privacytest.org for iOS browsers, it's like overall like probably one of the best performing on average uh, sections on the website, because
Mhm.
if you look at the desktop browsers, it's completely different, and lots of browsers don't even have basic privacy and security features, whereas on iOS there's actually a very good staple bare minimum. And that's because everything's based on WebKit, and a lot of these privacy and security features are already baked into WebKit. So even if you put out like a sketchy, awful browser on iOS, it's still actually going to have some more protections than even some other browsers on desktop. Um, And so like it's gonna kind of suck to lose that bottom limit. But what I'm hoping happens is if someone's gonna build a crappy browser, they're probably still gonna have the option to still be WebKit based. And so I hope that browsers can still utilize WebKit and still take advantage of WebKit's power. And if they're going to do better than that, then they have the ability to do better than that. So I hope that's the situation that we see. So some people like Brave or Firefox or any of these browsers can go above and beyond what Apple allows them to do. But hopefully that bare minimum is still there, is what I want to see.